Hello and welcome to the Out-of-State University's South Brunswick High School Alumni College panel. I'm Mrs. Lucarello. I'm one of the school counselors at the high school. And these are South Brunswick High School alumni who have volunteered their time to give back to the South Brunswick community in hopes to help you get clarification and inspiration during your college search and selection process. The questions you will hear have been gathered over the years through various college panel discussions at the high school. If there is a question that you have that you would like answered that was not addressed during this session, please see the link at the bottom of our SBHS alumni panel discussion page. So let's get started. I'm going to ask each of the panelists to please introduce yourselves. Just say your name, your university that you're attending, your major, your year that you graduated, and one or two things about your campus, that you do on campus, rather. So Allie, do you want to start and we'll just go through?
Yeah, sure. So hi, I'm Allie. I went to Syracuse University. I graduated in 2018, so I've been out for 2 years now. I majored in broadcast journalism and information technology. And a couple of things I did on campus, I did my campus's TV station and our student-run radio station.
Thank you. Julia, do you want to go?
Sure. Okay, my name is Julia Frankel. I graduated South Brunswick High School in 2019. I go to the University of Arizona, set to graduate in 2023. My major is pre-business, but I'm also a naval science and warfare tactic major because I participate in naval ROTC on campus, and I also do intramural soccer on campus.
Great, thank you. Emily?
Yeah, hi, I'm Emily. I go to Virginia Tech. I'm majoring in architecture and minoring in smart and sustainable cities and green engineering. I am currently finishing my second year at Virginia Tech in a 5-year professional degree program. And one thing that I did participate in on campus that I really enjoy is participating in the big event, which is a day of philanthropy where the students of Virginia Tech give back to the town of Blacksburg just to say thank you.
Great. And Molly?
Hey everybody, I'm Molly. I just graduated this year from Clemson University. I majored in political science and criminal justice, and I was involved in Greek life on campus, and I was also a tour guide, which I absolutely loved. I would have loved to tour any of you around our campus.
Great, thank you. What was the main thing you were looking for when deciding on a college, and how did you make your final decision? Anyone's welcome to go.
When I was first looking for college, I definitely knew I wanted to do something in communications. I was undecided on what, but I knew I wanted to be in communications. I wanted to be in the East Coast, like Northeast area, and a pretty medium, bigger size school. So that's how I narrowed down my focus at first. And then campus visits were a big part of it, which I know is not super possible right now, but there's still a lot of creative ways you can talk to people who are going to the college and kind of look at the different events that they have. If you know you want to be a part of Greek life or intramural sports, or like I knew a campus TV station was something that I would love to be a part of. So I made sure to kind of tick off all those boxes. Visiting Syracuse definitely helped me. I just kind of went on campus and I just really liked it. And I knew that's probably where I would want to be. So that definitely helped out and kind of sealed the decision for me. And then getting in is a big part.
I think for me, it was a little bit different because I had that added component of ROTC. ROTC is kind of one of those things that not fully everyone quite understands what it is, but it's not a club, it's not a sports team. It's basically like how you would go to nursing school to be a nurse. Like if you want to be a military officer, you have to go to military officer training school. Which is kind of like what ROTC is. So for me, that played obviously a big role because it's this national-wide application pool. You have to pick up a scholarship to be in it. So for me, when it came down to choosing the schools with ROTC branches, the University of Arizona kind of needed to feel like a home away from home for me because I was willing to go so far. So I think if anyone's thinking about going out of state, you know, she mentioned before that like campus is really important. And even though that is kind of hard right now, there's still virtual tours. You can still talk to people that you might know that go to the school. I just think for me, the University of Arizona pulled me because of their campus and because of like what they do outside of the classroom that would make my life a lot more interesting there.
Thanks.
Yeah, for me, it was definitely program was important. I wanted an architecture school that was nationally known and had a good alumni network after the fact. So when you're hiring, that's also important to look at job placement for whatever you're thinking of studying, but also going off of what the others were saying about just feeling at home on campus. And at Virginia Tech, there's really a pride that people have for being a Virginia Tech student, wearing maroon and orange on just a normal day. And I think that definitely the spirit of the school is important, and it just getting the feel that people want to be there and are happy there, because you don't want to go somewhere and spend 4 years where you're unhappy. And so if other students are happy and you can feel it on campus, that's really important too.
Okay.
Yeah, I pretty much echo what everybody else said. I knew that I wanted to go out of state, and I knew I wanted a pretty big school, but at the same time I wanted to feel comfortable on campus. And again, that home away from home, that's something that I talk to my tour groups about all the time. It's the most important thing, because you're going to be there for 4 years hopefully, and you want to feel like it's your second home. So that's definitely a priority. And I made my final decision honestly. I don't really know why. I got my Clemson admissions packet and I was just super excited about it, and the way that I felt was different than when I had gotten my other letters of admission. And so I kind of took it and ran with it, and it was the best decision that I've ever made. So
Great. Okay, what resources or opportunities have helped you find your place on campus?
I just think anything where you're getting involved outside of if you're living in a dorm or an apartment or the classroom, I think it's really important in college, especially because you're not networking the way you do in high school, where it's so easy to make friends and it's so easy to get involved. So I think you really have to put yourself out there in college. For me, ROTC takes up a lot of my time, and it was a great family to come into. But for me, I kind of made a point to, network myself outside. Like I joined intramural sports. I volunteered for the football and basketball game concessions. I looked into club sports. So for me, like there's a lot that goes on outside the classroom that's made my adjustment a lot easier.
Okay.
yeah, I think the key is really finding something that you're most interested in, because then you're going to surround yourself with people who have the same interests as you and maybe the same aspirations. So whether that is, Greek life, intramural sports, some kind of professional club or organization, just find whatever your interests are, and then you're gonna surround yourself with those people who will hopefully become some of your best friends.
Great. Anybody else have anything?
Sorry. On the academic side of the question, I think Virginia Tech does a really great job at limiting class sizes, especially for in-major classes. So you really get that one-on-one time with your professors and you can build a relationship. And I think that especially in some of the larger universities, that's hard to come by when you're in a lecture hall of potentially 400, 500 people. So looking for those classes where you can have a relationship with your professor is important, and it'll help you find friends that I found in my classes that were that small, as well as opportunities outside of the classroom to get involved with those professors afterwards.
Okay. All right. What has been the most exciting opportunity you've taken advantage of so far? I know we've heard a couple of things, but if you could elaborate.
I guess for me, one of my favorite parts of attending Clemson was being a tour guide for the university. I remember I went on so many college road trips. I went to pretty much all up and down the East Coast. So one of the things that stood out to me in that process were the tour guides. And so I knew that I wanted to be a tour guide at whatever school that I ended up at. So that was pretty much one of the most exciting things that I've been a part of, because I was able to not only be that person that I looked up to, to during that, decision process, but also share my love for Clemson with everybody who comes. And that's kind of, I guess, why I chose to do this panel as well, because it's just another opportunity to kind of show you, how passionate you can be about your college and kind of all of the great opportunities that lay ahead for all of you.
Yeah, two of the things that I loved from my time at Syracuse was one was Citrus TV, which was our campus TV station. And I joined it before knowing that I wanted to major in broadcast journalism. And that definitely kind of propelled me into knowing that that was exactly what I wanted to do. And I met a lot of my best friends there. I was going to say I somehow became the news director, but it wasn't random, but that was one of the best decisions because it forced me to, besides being in charge, just really meet everybody at that station and become really good friends with so many more people that I wouldn't have met otherwise if I had kind of just stayed in the news department. But I met the sports people, I met the entertainment people, and it really kind of broadened my horizons. We also have a student-run radio station that I didn't think I would join because radio was not something that I wanted to be a part of, but I had a couple friends who were going to the meeting, so I tagged along, which I think is something that, especially your freshman year, just tag along to things, tag along to meetings, because you might end up going to something that you really like. And the radio station ended up being a really fun outlet. I joined our morning show, and it is 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., but sitting on the morning show for 4 hours, just kind of telling stories, entertaining actual people of Central New York, because it's not just a college radio station, you can hear it through Central New York, was one of the coolest things. And just a final thing I would say, also broaden your horizons. Those were two things that kind of felt very much in my major and what I would think I would be a part of. But I also randomly joined this group called MESH, which is Making Expression and Scholarship Heard. And we went to local school districts in the Syracuse area and taught them creative writing and kind of just showed them that college is an option for them, because Syracuse can be a very rough area and never something that I thought I'd be a part of. And I definitely put myself out there to be a part of it because I didn't know anyone else a part of it, but I think it was one of the coolest things I was a part of because it took me outside of our campus bubble.
Great.
Yeah, I did something similar. So I think something that's, just to reiterate, that's really important, especially your freshman year. I'm coming out of my freshman year right now, is taking yourself out of your comfort zone and finding a school that I think is going to do that for you. I know for me, so much of my life does revolve around ROTC, but that's just because that's what I do 24/7 kind of at the campus. So a lot of opportunities I get is Tucson, like New York, can be kind of a rough area outside of the campus, and there can be a lot of lack of opportunity for the kids here. So a lot of things, I get sent to high schools around Tucson a lot of the time, and just to talk to them about the option of the military and getting, having the military pay for your school if you can't afford it, or if you can't afford school at all and you can't get a scholarship, just the military as an option, and just kind of like putting them through a few training exercises just to see like if they like it. And that's something that's really cool, because like something for me, for South Brunswick and in New Jersey in general, I didn't get a lot of exposure to military as an option. And so I think that's really cool just to have that kind of outreach. So I think picking a school that's going to give you that outreach is really, really important.
Okay. All right. How did you decide what you wanted to study or major in?
I'll go first. So I wasn't really sure what I wanted to study when I was applying to colleges. I knew that in high school, I really enjoyed all of my history courses. I took a law course, so I liked that kind of side of things. So I ended up applying for political science, but it wasn't until I got to Clemson that I added criminal justice as a double major. So I think that goes to show that, yes, you might enjoy what you originally chose, but you might find things once you get to campus that maybe intrigue you more or something you want to add to your studies. And I can't even tell you how many people I know that came in as a science major and changed to business or vice versa. So definitely don't feel pressure to know exactly what you want to do right now. It'll really come as you begin your courses and see what you like and don't like. And yeah, it'll just kind of all fall into place.
Thanks.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. You definitely don't want to feel pressured I mean, you will feel pressure to figure out what you want to do, but it will come. I came into Syracuse undecided in the Newhouse School, which is a communications school, and through the campus TV station kind of figured out I really liked broadcast journalism. And the Newhouse School has a really cool communications class when you first start that kind of gives you a broad overview of all the different majors there. So already, without even choosing it, you get to experience all the different majors, and that really lets you kind of figure out what you want to do. And then kind of similar to Molly, in adding my information technology major was not something that I thought I would do, but I took an iSchool class, which is the information technology school, as an elective, really liked it, and thought, well, if I'm spending all this money, I might as well do 2 majors out of it. And I sat down with a guidance counselor and figured out I could figure out the credits and could get it done in the 4 years that I wanted to. And I loved every part of it.
So obviously you all know that South Brunswick, you have to take a 21st century skill, and I took architecture in the 21st century, and I continued taking those classes throughout all of high school and really enjoyed it. And so I knew, different than a lot of my friends, I knew what I wanted to study going in, but once I got to college, I saw the opportunities, and that's how I added 2 minors just to broaden my scope of classes that I could take and take classes that I enjoy. Not that I enjoy my architecture classes, but it's getting my head out of the architecture world, which is very strict and precise in design thinking, and getting more into the technical side with the green engineering major, and then the urban planning side to broaden my scope for the profession afterwards and not be so narrowly minded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you ladies raised good points about that even if you are, sort of focused in one area of interest, you may find some other areas that you can minor in that you can still, focus on as well. So that was great. So some of you have already mentioned some things, but are there any extracurricular activities or programs you've been involved with, and how have they impacted your college experience? I know we talked about a few already with, intramurals and
so again, I was a part of the campus TV station and the radio station, and those were just great outlets to be something besides my communications classes. Both were student run. So even though we had a faculty advisor, we were the ones that were making the decisions. Our general managers and presidents were our peers, which is really cool to be able to put you in charge and be able to make those decisions. And I think college definitely, as you go off to college, especially in out-of-state school, makes you feel a lot more independent, but then getting to be in that place, and I think puts you at an even bigger advantage. And definitely, being in those opportunities definitely gives you people that will make you feel more at home. My first couple months at Syracuse weren't the best ever, because you're away from home, you're out of state. I was 4 hours away, and you're not immediately going to love it. And so that definitely gives you at least a distraction, or people you're all in the same boat, so you're all going to be feeling the same way. And then probably by your second semester, you're like, okay, yeah, I can do this. I really like this. And I mean, it made me love with my classes and out of my classes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the biggest piece of advice I have for I went 3,000 miles away. So I went just about as far as you can go. And I think the biggest advice I have for someone that's maybe thinking about whether they want to go 2 hours away or a 6-hour plane ride away, I think the most important thing to do is just get involved. It doesn't mean you need to hurry and rush all the Greek life or join every club or try to get on every sports team, but even just doing things like go to football games, go to sporting events. I know the university puts on something called Bear Down Friday, which is where they kind of get you excited for the weekend sporting events or the weekend you know, we do like a spring fling or like the block parties or bash at the rec and all that kind of stuff. Like, just, it may seem dumb, and maybe when you were in high school you didn't want to like go to that stuff, but in college it's super important. That's how you make friends, that's how you meet new people, and it's also just makes your first few months a lot of fun and helps you to adjust to the campus. That's how I adjusted from moving from the East Coast to the West Coast, was just like going to all the little like events that was being put on by the campus.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Julia. Even maybe if you weren't involved, right, in high school, college is a new opportunity. It's a new chapter, so you can sort of write it the way you want it to look. So that's a great point. Okay, can you describe your transition from high school to college? It kind of goes along with what we were just saying, but what was that experience like for you?
I'll talk a little bit about that. So I do have to say, South Brunswick really does prepare you for college. So just the fact that you're sitting here listening to us means you're already in a great position to be a freshman and kind of get into the groove of things. For me, it was a little bit of a transition. Honestly, the best thing that you can do is make friends in your classes and get to know your professors early on. So I made a point in all of my freshman fall semester courses to go up to my professor at the end of our first class and just introduce myself. It makes you stand out a little bit, and they'll know your name. If you need any help in the future, any questions, even just like outside mentoring, they're definitely going to be more willing to talk to you a little bit about it, just because that you've kind of made yourself known. And so those are kind of two of the best things that you can do, especially early on. But really, you guys will be so prepared for it. You just have to work on time management. Don't procrastinate. I'll let the other, ladies talk about what their experience was, but just kind of honing those skills and just think about, what you want your future to be and just work towards it, and you'll get it done. So don't be worried.
For me, the time between high school and college is definitely an interesting time. It's very exciting moving on to a next chapter, but also there's nerves that come with it of starting something new. And going to an out-of-state college, you're going to know very few, if any, people from South Brunswick going to the school. So it really is an opportunity to start completely new, but not forget what you learned from South Brunswick. Like Molly said, they do prepare you very well with the classes and the opportunities they provide and the resources that they do for us, for this South Brunswick students moving forward. And so it's definitely, someone said it earlier, but the first few weeks for me, going 7 hours away, I didn't enjoy it, but now I would do anything to go back there right now in this situation. And I love it, and I wouldn't make a different decision if I had to do it again. So I think it's just pushing through those first few weeks, really finding your place on campus, finding friends, and then you'll love it. And if you don't, like, I have a few friends that transferred, and that's a viable option also. But hopefully everyone will find a college where you can spend 4 years and love every minute of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I had kind of a weird adjustment period between high school and college, but that's just because I had 2 weeks of summer after graduation, and then I had to go to Great Lakes for boot camp, and then from boot camp I went directly to my school. So I kind of had no time to process or really move my stuff. It was all moved for me. So I really started from the ground and had to build my way up in college. So I think the biggest piece of advice from completely kind of feeling like a fish out of water in a new state and a new part of the country is just put yourself out there. No one's going to reject you if you go up to them and say hi in your dorm, because you guys are living with each other for a year. And even if you're not dorming, people in your apartment or people in your classes, they're all freshmen, they're all in the same boat, they're all going to feel the same way, and they're all going to just want friends just like you. So I think that was a learning curve. No one's going to reject my friendship. So put yourself out there. Even if you're not an outgoing person, try to be. College is a new time to kind of, rebrand yourself. And if that's the kind of person you want to be, go for it. And like we've been saying the whole time, get involved.
Okay. All right. Last question. What advice would you give to students getting ready to enter the world of college? And what advice do you wish you had gotten before you entered college? If we could all run through this one.
I can start for this one. So I think what Julia was just saying with just putting yourself out there, it's a brand new slate of people. Stepping out of your comfort zone was something that in high school I was on the quieter side, and going into college there's some things that I do in college that I'm more outgoing towards my friends, and just in general that if you would have told me in high school that that's how I was going to be, I would have questioned it a little bit. But it's a whole new slate of people, so you have the opportunity to reach out there and branch out of your comfort zone, and that's really important for being able to make friends and finding your place on campus, and also just get involved not only in clubs but also in what the school has to offer. So go to the football games. One of the best things I think about Virginia Tech is on football game days, Blacksburg completely shuts down, and it's turned into game day central with tailgates on everything. And for hours before the game, you can really feel the energy and the pride that people have for being a Virginia Tech student or a Virginia Tech fan until game time. And then the entrance that we do when we jump to enter Sandman, it's really just special. And find those things at your university that are special that people say to get involved in and do it. And hopefully that'll account to you finding your friends and finding your place.
Thanks.
I think my biggest piece of advice is this is supposed to kind of be the new chapter of your life, but it's supposed to be one of the best chapters of your life. It's supposed to be the best four. And so it's really important to find a school that you're going to be able to create that for yourself. For me, a big part of my decision was, it's kind of like a weird piece of advice to like give, but find a fun school. Find a school that you're going to be able to enjoy and make memories for those, best 4 years. Because I know there were a few schools I was looking at to play soccer at originally that I would not have had fun at. I would not enjoyed my time at. It's very important to focus academically, but also like that can't be your time always. And so finding a school with, maybe a football team or Greek life is super important for you. And those are just things I think you need to like figure out during the college decision process. It's like, what are the main things that are important to you? And I guess that's my biggest piece of advice, especially when you're thinking of going out of state, because it is a really big decision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of going off of what Julia said, I think, especially now, just graduated, just traveled home from Clemson, an interesting perspective on like what I remember from my time there. And so, you're going to enter college, you're going to feel a little bit overwhelmed by classes. You want to do well because you want to get a great job or go on to graduate school. So all that is, of course, important. But, studying and like being worried about exams or finals or anything, those are not the things you're going to remember from your time at college. You're going to remember the friends you made, maybe the friends you were studying with at 2 a.m. in the library. You're going to remember the football games that you went to, even if you were dying because it was 100 degrees out. You're going to remember all of those little things that make college what it is. And so, of course, focus on your academics, but definitely make sure that you have a balance. It's so important. And those great times are going to be the ones that you're going to look back on when you're in my position and wishing that you were a freshman all over again. So just kind of try to remember that. Don't get too overwhelmed at times. I know it's difficult, but definitely, try to remember that as you enter college, and just soak everything in. That I would do anything to go back to your position right now. So just take advantage of everything and enjoy it all while it lasts, because it is the best 4 years, but it's also the quickest 4 years. I know you might think that about high school, but college definitely has a beat.
Yeah, I would totally agree with Molly. As someone who's been graduated for 2 years, I would go back. I absolutely loved my time at Syracuse, and you definitely want to embrace all the time that you have in college. So you do, as everyone else said, kind of want to find your home away from home, even if that is out of state. A lot of people told me when I was going off to college that like it's gonna go by so fast, you're gonna love it, like, stay smart, have fun, all of these different things. And like you will figure it out. You will find the things you want to be involved in. You'll find friends. You will find the major you want to major in. Just take everything step by step and try not to overwhelm yourself of like, oh, I need to find my home away from home. I need to find the perfect place for the next 4 years. Just take a breath. It's not going to be easy, but you shouldn't make it this like huge stressful thing. It is a big decision, but take it step by step. You will find the place that you want to be at. You will find the things you want to be involved in. You will find your friends. It will go by so fast. So enjoy it and have the best time.
Great.
I think going off that really briefly is just, it's okay to ask for help. Going out of state's hard. It's not, there's a huge difference between staying in state and going out of state. And it's hard, especially when you go out to a state where you have no friends or family. And so it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to call your parents every week at first. It's okay to call your hometown friends. It's completely okay to reach out to everyone from South Brunswick and ask for help. It's normal. It's going to happen, especially when you go out of state. And I think that's a piece of advice that it was never given to me, but I realized really quickly that it's not only okay, but it's important to kind of keep those connections with the people here, because it's going to be hard the first weeks, but you're going to adjust and you're going to be okay. And it's all going to work out. It's just making the initial leap. And I encourage you, and I'm sure we all encourage you to take that leap, because it's so, so worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I would love to echo that again as well. I remember my first couple weeks, I had a huge group of friends who is very common in South Brunswick, who all went to Rutgers, and they all kind of had that same friend group around them and that same security. And I had one friend from South Brunswick come with me to Syracuse, and I remember sitting in my dorm kind of being like, oh, I shouldn't have gone all the way to Syracuse. Which obviously you can go farther, you can go to Arizona, but yes, when you will 100% feel that you should have stuck to what you know, you should have stuck to where your friends are all going. But absolutely, like Julia said, make that leap if this is where you want to go. If you want to go out of state, it will be so worth it, and you will get over those first couple of weeks. You will make new friends, but keep in touch with those home friends. Skype them, Zoom them, FaceTime them, whatever. Call your mom every week. That's what I did too, and you will get through it, and it'll just be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
I think going 7 hours away too, I don't think I ever regretted my decision. Actually, I never regretted my decision and questioned it, but those first few weeks definitely were quite an adjustment. But I found myself being 7 hours away and not having the ability to go home every weekend, even going home every other weekend. I only go home on major breaks. And I think it caused me to adjust faster to being independent and living on my own. So take that, if you want to take the jump to go out of state and go several hours away, I would very highly recommend it, because I feel like it did cause me to grow up faster, I think, and not have to rely on going home every weekend and learn to do things on my own, being so far away.
Mm-hmm. Was there any advice that you didn't get that you wish you had heard from somebody? I mean, I'm sure that visiting schools was a big part of your decision, right? To go so far away and not have seen that school at all. Was there anything that you ladies felt like you wish somebody helped you with or told you?
I just think, so you always hear that college is the best 4 years of your life. I think what people don't say is those first few weeks, they're not going to be the best weeks of your life. It definitely is an adjustment period between getting there, learning to be independent, not living at home for the first time in your life. So those first few weeks aren't going to be what you're picturing college to be, but after that, even the first semester maybe, but after that first semester, it's a blast. You're going to have the best time of your life. And it really is. It's not like people just saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think there's this big expectation around your first semester of your freshman year that you're going to find your friends on the first day and that you're going to find your place right away. And while that might be true for some people, don't feel like you've made a wrong decision if it doesn't happen to you, because the same with everybody on this panel. It took me a couple months to find my people and to find kind of my place at Clemson. And so don't be worried if you're a couple weeks in and you're not feeling exactly very comfortable yet, because it will come. It will absolutely come. So just kind of, go through with it. It will be amazing. And when I say I would go back to your position, I would. I absolutely would. But I guess I mean more when I found everything. So just, I feel like I don't want you all to worry about those first couple weeks if you're sitting there and if it hasn't fallen into place for you yet, because that's so normal. And so when you're, sitting there, just think about that and think about what we've all said. And we've had the most rewarding experiences ever since. So just stick it out, and it'll definitely become the best 4 years of your life, even if it's not the best couple of weeks in the beginning.
Yeah, just going off that idea of like, it's rough at first, it is. Even if, like, for me, like, I walked into like a family with ROTC and it still was difficult. So I think you need to go into this new chapter knowing it's going to be hard at first, but seeing it through, like Molly said. But Emily said earlier, the piece of advice I think I never got, and I've said to other people that are thinking about going out of state or taking a leap of faith, is always take the leap of faith and always take the chance and go to your dream school, even if it's crazy amount of distance away from home. But even if at the end it doesn't work out, you're not the first person on earth to ever transfer, and transferring is totally okay. And I think that's a piece of advice that I never got. And I mean, even though I'm not in a position that I want to transfer, I know some of my friends are already in positions that they're ready to transfer. And, if you take that leap of faith and you don't end up really liking it, you're not going to be the first person on earth in history to ever transfer, and it's totally okay. And it's your business. And if you're not happy, transfer.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And echoing that too, if you don't find the group of people that you're loving your first semester, you don't find the activities that you're loving your first semester, do it the second semester, do it the second year. It doesn't have to come all in your first semester, your first couple of weeks, like everyone's been saying. You can try new things your second semester, your second year, your third year. Like you can figure it all out, figure out the things you want to be a part of, meet new people all the time, and it'll work out. And if it doesn't, you can transfer and just stick through it. Because I think I had a lot of friends who I met second semester who said if they hadn't, they were thinking of transferring by the end of their first semester, that they stuck it out until the end of their first year, sometimes just because they didn't go through with the paperwork, sometimes because they just thought, why not? And they then stuck it out for all 4 years, so they ended up loving it. So it's not going to come all at first, but I think it'll come.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, I'll give one more.
Okay.
So, I feel like in high school, just going off of like friends and finding people in high school, I think everyone feels like your friend group's kind of established, and there's no like switching. And I kind of felt that way throughout high school, but in college, it's so not like that. You can find your friends your freshman year, but you can add to your group sophomore year. You cannot find people till senior year. That you have so many different experiences over the course of those 4 years where you're going to be exposed to new people and meet other friends through, existing friends. So actually the core group of people that I've been spending a lot of time with this past semester, especially since, online classes and all of that, were people that I didn't hang out with for the first 3 years. There were people I found my senior year, which is kind of sad because I didn't get all of that time with them. But I don't want, you to think that, freshman year, you find your group and it's fixed for those next 4 years. It's definitely not. It's completely fluid. You'll find new people, different experiences will introduce you to them. And so just kind of stick it out, and you never know the amazing people that you might meet, even in your 4th year.
Great. All right. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for sharing your college experience and information. It's been so helpful. And thank you so much for spending your time with us today to do this. Again, if there's any questions by our viewers, if you want answered that wasn't addressed during our session, you can see the link at the bottom of the SBHS Alumni College Panel discussion page, where you can also ask more questions or get more information from the panelists. So thank you again today. I hope everybody stays safe and healthy and has a great day. Thank you so much.